Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing today? It's a beautiful day out here. Every day's a beautiful day. Today I got a special story for you. Well, it's special to me. Based on a true story. I'll get into further details later. But yeah, this one's definitely special to me, and I want to share it with you guys. I hope you guys like it. It's called Biker Bosses. I also might change that. I might change that title later, but I kind of like it. Hope you like it. Starts out a young Italian kid named Tony. He grows up in a tough city, and he has a tough family, a few tough friends. Takes place in the 1960s, much different time. He grows up going to school, but hates school, and gets into a lot of trouble. He gets in a lot of trouble because he has no interest, and he wants to find some fun in it. So he fights guys, talks to girls, plays pranks like pulling people's chairs out when they go to sit down for a laugh. Well, when Tony is not in school, he sees the guys in the neighborhood doing illegal things like gambling, selling liquor without licenses, drug dealing. And Tony is not a bad kid. He is just drawn to the illegal things, as most people are. So as he gets older and stronger, he fights working, as he gets older and stronger, he starts working for a bookie, collecting and taking bets through people. He quit school as a freshman in high school, and he's trying to make money. That's all he wants to do. Now he is a muscular, tough young kid who can fight and beats up grown men at a young age. He's just a beast. He's a tank. So he is in the gambling rackets for a bookie called Vito. Tony is the best enforcer that Vito ever had. He doesn't know how this kid gets everyone to pay somehow. Some time goes on and everything is good. Tony has a kid unexpectedly and just marries the girl just because he feels it's the right way. He has a boy, which he is happy, but the marriage doesn't last, and is now a single father. He gets with the wife's friend and dates her for about another year, then breaks it off, and he gets whatever girl he wants. In the meantime, he buys a Harley Davidson, which he loves to ride and cruise and clear his head with a little throttle therapy. While he is riding one day, he thinks the Italians. While he's riding one day, he thinks the Italians have. He puts this together. He figures, the Italians guys, they got their soldiers, the Irish, the Jewish. Now Tony is connected to the Italians, if you want to call it the wise guys, you call it the mob, whatever. Already he could be a high-ranking member, but he wants his own thing. So he comes up with an idea to start a motorcycle club and wants nothing but tough guys like him. And they are going to run it like the mob, giving protection to the neighborhood, and just to be mischievous because life needs a little spicing up once in a while, he thinks. Now in Waterbury, Connecticut, where he is from and lives, there is no such thing yet. There's no such thing as biker clubs or none of that. Until Tony puts it into motion and calls it the Peddlers of Evil. Peddlers of Evil. Badass name, I think. He recruits 8 guys at first, all badass Italian and Irish guys, because that's all he was close to at that time. He gives them all a role, such as VP, Sergeant of Arms, Treasurer, soldiers. So they just start off riding cool in a pack and doing odd stuff, on the side, such as collecting, punishing people that need lessons taught to, which they should do that now too. Be the Punisher. Call me the Punisher, I'll do it. I don't like that nonsense. Not soon later, he and the gang start putting money on the street, running their own numbers, because Tony knows the business. He knows the business, he was in it. Already he figured, why not? And he also had Vito's blessing. He loved Vito and respected him very much. So he went and asked for his blessing. Business takes off quick. He has sports betting down and does a daily number for people that don't like sports. So he'll do a number. If it comes out, he pays them. No sports. Then he moves into the marijuana business. He gets linked up with some dealers where he doesn't sell small. He sells wholesale in large amounts. Then they get into running prostitutes. They get into doing that. So he would do that, and he kept his friends happy with that. He kept his friends and his customers. The girls would do anything for Tony. He was a good-looking guy. They loved him. He protected them too. He was like a father figure to a lot of people. And that's kind of how he would control people too. You know, they respected him. It was about respect, which should be more about respect nowadays, if you ask me. That's what I live my life on. Police answered to these guys. Back then, police were scared of them. Tony would throw them a bone once in a while, give them a couple things. You know, never ratting on nobody, but he'd throw them a bone, help them with some garbage in the neighborhood. The peddlers had shit on lock. They started new groups in different towns. But after a while, there were new motorcycle clubs starting up and trying to outdo the peddlers. So there was a lot of brawling going on over territory, respect, brawling in bars, local parks, middle of traffic even. Anywhere. Fists, bats, bottles, brass knuckles. Old school beating. Tony was cool. Though. He would harass new clubs. He would embrace new clubs, just as long as they showed respect. They didn't want to mess with him or his people. But they tried. He figured he could use them as new assets and make money from them. And he did just that. But there was still a lot of bloodshed, such as fighting. But it was drunk fighting that would get solved quickly. Now Tony is married with 4 more kids and ends up retiring, but gives the club to his best friend Angelo, who was a badass guy who served in Vietnam. Sorry, I got distracted. He keeps in touch with Angelo and everyone. Then Tony has a grandson named Steven. Steven, what's up? Who happens to have Angelo's nephew as a father. So they're related. He's related to both guys. Tony does not want that life for Steven. Neither does Angelo. But Steven takes his birthright and runs it when he gets to be 18. He runs it just as his grandfather and uncle did. And Steven is extremely smart and tough. Nobody even looks at him the wrong way. He runs the gambling, drugs, and women. He has legitimate business also, like car sales, a security firm, and a handful of pizzerias. But unfortunately, after technology got so good, back in the day, technology wasn't good when his grandfather and uncle were coming up. But now that Steven's in, this is years and years later, and the police are a lot smarter. There's a lot more technology and a lot more mouths. So the technology ends up working against Steven, even though he tries to take every precaution, and he's well respected. He's no dummy. Unfortunately, some people get in trouble sometimes. Technology is so good now, he gets put in prison for 15 years. 15 years. People say he still runs it from in prison. But no one knows. He is very private and safe. He is a real one. Never informing on anybody, ratting on anybody. The old school way. A little short story, not as long as the other ones. I hope you liked it, guys. The reason why that one was so important is I'm gonna come out and be completely honest with you. I used my name in that, and I used family members' names in it because that was their thing back in the day. They ran a no joke show. We're one of the first biker clubs to come out of Waterbury, Connecticut. And they're my family. I got to grow up along these guys. I mean, I'm blessed to have them as family. You know, it sounds a little tough or graphic and stuff, but these guys were all about family. They were all about protecting people. They weren't about hurting nobody. I mean, it just came down to that sometimes. But yeah, story is important to me because it's just what it was, and that's some of the history that people don't even know about, to be honest. I left out a lot of things, of course. That's I'm gonna proceed with that after we get things rolling here. I left out a lot of stuff, but I also, put some stuff in there that was a little bit fiction. It wasn't, but most of it was true. It wasn't all true, but yeah. I hope you guys like it. And I'm just trying to give a message. I like all that stuff. The movies like Goodfellas and The Irishman and Scarface. I like those kind of movies. They're based on true too. So yeah, I hope you guys have a blessed day. Thank you.